What's going on, everybody? Victor here with a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the top fighters in the UFC featherweight division till this day, Josh Emmett. And Josh Emmett currently has an 18-2 record in his whole entire career, and he's a very special fighter. He's been to the top of the division twice now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Josh Emmett was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. He wrestled collegiately in college for 4 years before beginning a career in mixed martial arts. He traveled to the city of Sacramento, where he ended up joining up with Uriah Faber and Team Alpha Male. He's been with that team his whole entire career. He went pro in 2011, and after amassing a 9-0 undefeated record in 5 years, at 2016, he ended up signing a contract with the UFC. After having a couple fights in between featherweight and lightweight, he made a breakthrough fight when the UFC pitted him against highly ranked UFC featherweight Ricardo Lamas. As a result, Josh Emmett was able to secure a first round brutal KO, a highlight reel KO for the ages, one of the best the featherweight division has ever seen. And after getting that win against Ricardo Lamas in the first round, ended up catapulting him into the top 5 of the division, where he ended up being ranked number 4. His next fight was in 2018 that he took against Jeremy Stephens. As we all know, Jeremy Stephens was a monster in the UFC featherweight division for a very, very long time, had been with the promotion for 10 plus years. And when those two individuals fought at UFC Fight Night Orlando, it ended up being a first round stoppage TKO, brutally ground and pound against Josh Emmett. He ended up breaking his orbital bone, and he cannot fight for the rest of that 2018 year. He would have to come back in 2019, so he was already out for the rest of that year. Things not looking so good. He basically told people that was one of the worst career injuries that he sustained in his whole entire life, but came back better and stronger than ever against Michael Johnson in 2019. He was able to secure a third round KO, came back, fought Mirsad Beltic, was able to KO him as well, came back against Shane Burgos, had a Fight of the Year candidate performance against him, and he's been undefeated ever since. His last well-known win was against Calvin Kattar a couple weeks ago in UFC Fight Night, Austin, Texas. It was a back-and-forth fight, a very close fight that went the full 5 rounds. It went to the distance, it went to the hands of the judges, and as a result, Josh Emmett was able to get the nod in that fight and proclaimed himself as the next title challenger for Alexander Volkanovski, who's basically cleaned house with the top of the division. There's always going to be killers in the division, so no one can really say they ever swept house unless they beat everybody in that division, especially in that top 15. But Josh Emmett hasn't really been treated fairly. He hasn't been treated with the red carpet rollout like a lot of these big name fighters have, and he's been really mad about it. He's been really emotional about it at the same time as well. He was invited to UFC 276, where the co-main event pitted Max Holloway against Alexander Volkanovski for the third time. Alexander Volkanovski looked really good. He looked dominant, and he won that fight via unanimous decision. That fight was one-sided the whole entire way. And Josh Emmett wasn't even in the fighter section for that fight. The UFC ended up giving him some very bad seats, some seats very far away from the first row of the arena, and they didn't even promote and they didn't even mention Josh Emmett the whole entire night, basically indicating that Josh Emmett will not be the next fighter to be pinned against Alexander Volkanovski for the UFC Featherweight Championship of the world. And Josh Emmett basically voiced his opinion, and so did Uriah Faber as well. Uriah Faber isn't only just a mentor and a coach of Josh Emmett, he's also his manager at the same time as well. And Uriah basically voiced out and complained that Josh Emmett told him that he just felt like crap. He felt like the promotion doesn't give a crap about him, that they're always stepping on him, that they're always looking past him, and they're always casting a shadow on top of him and making him feel like he's non-existent whatsoever. Now, this was his time to shine, but he didn't get the tools that he needed in order to get that call-out done against Alexander Volkanovski, to get that notoriety that he truly deserves, because, like I said, before that fight against Jeremy Stephens, he was ranked number 4 in the featherweight division. He was at the very top and took a dangerous fight against number 8 ranked Jeremy Stephens and lost. He ended up not fighting for a year, and it basically took him all the way towards the lowest point of the division. I think he was ranked in the top 15 to 10 spot, in between there, of the division, of the featherweight division, and as a result, he had to fight his way back. He was fighting killers, like I said. You know, Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige, Mirsad Beltic, Michael Johnson, Shane Burgos, all these guys he had to fight in order to get back to the top 5 for the second time in his career, in his UFC career. So the UFC should definitely consider giving Josh Emmett the title fight next, but there have been rumors swirling around that the UFC is going to give Yair Rodriguez the next title shot if he wins against Brian Ortega during their fight this week, this Saturday, UFC Fight Night, Long Island, via Long Island, New York. If Yair Rodriguez does get that win, he's going to be the next one to fight Alexander Volkanovski, who he has not fought yet in the division. The reason why the UFC might give Yair that title shot is because of his performance against Max Holloway. He ended up giving Max Holloway as much damage as no one else in the featherweight division has been able to give to him over the last couple years, even before Alexander Volkanovski inflicted all that damage to him during their third fight. Yair Rodriguez looked absolutely amazing, and as a result, it opened up a lot of eyes, especially for the UFC brass. And now Josh Emmett is looking on the outside, looking in, and things are really not looking good. The best advice I can be able to give for a fighter just as Josh Emmett is that you can't be quiet anymore. You can't have a soft, outspoken voice. You got to be able to make some waves. You got to be able to make some noise. You got to be able to make a little bit of controversy, even if you're not that type of fighter, because this is the business at the end of the day, and the UFC is trying to bring as many eyes to the sport as possible. They're trying to bring as much revenue and money to the sport and to the promotion at the same time as possible. And to be a fighter that's trying to vie for a title shot, you have to make your point known. You have to make it known across the whole entire division, across the whole entire promotion. You got to go knocking on Dana White's door. Heck, maybe even slamming that door, not breaking the door, for crying out loud. Doing anything possible in order to get that title fight. You can't just go to your manager and tell him this and tell him that. You got to do it yourself. You got to kick that door open and demand a title shot. With Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, Dana White, and whoever else is with that UFC brass, you need to scream at them. You need to yell at them. You need to make your point across. You need to instill fear in them, for crying out loud, in order to get that title shot, in order to not be, not be tossed around like a carpet anymore, And that's the best advice I can be able to give Josh Emmett. Like I said, he's been through a lot during his whole entire UFC career. Heck, his whole entire mixed martial arts career. And he does have a wrestling and a grappling background, which goes really well with his striking. He's one of the best strikers and most powerful individuals in the UFC featherweight division. Heck, in the history of the featherweight division as well. And if he can be able to get a title shot, that would be great, not only for him, but also for his career and also his team at Team Alpha Male as well. But he's got to make his point known. He's got to be loud. He's got to be brash. He can't be quiet anymore. That's the best advice I can be able to give out for a fighter such as Josh Emmett, who is one of the best quality fighters in the UFC, also in the UFC featherweight division, and also around the world. What do you guys think about this situation? Do you guys think that Josh Emmett is getting screwed? Do you guys think he needs the next title shot? Do you guys think he needs to put himself out there a little bit more? Get out of his shell, get out of his comfort zone. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I really wanted to put this video out there because I do believe he needs a title shot, and he deserves a title shot because of everything that he's been through, all the injuries, all the fights. He used to be at the top. He got knocked down a peg to the bottom, and now he's back in his way to the top in the top 5, and hopefully he can get that very soon. Appreciate you guys for watching the video. Stay safe, stay blessed. Later, guys.